Everybody, what is going on? It's Bill with Franklin Loan Center, and here we are on 9/11. Of course, the anniversary of 9/11, and it's just still. I mean, you see the stuff on TV and whatnot that's going on. It's just like, oh my goodness! It's like those scars will just never go away, which I guess they shouldn't. So, on a much lighter note, I did want to. Last week we talked about some big changes that have happened in real estate for buyers in particular. There's a lot of changes all across the board, but we talked last week about buyers and how now they're going to be asked to sign this it's the buyer representation agreement right up front. Realtors have to get this signed up front before they can do anything that remotely looks like trying to sell somebody a house, right? And that includes like negotiating how much they're going to get paid, whether it gets paid by the seller or by the buyer, right? So kind of a big step, right? And there's a thing that I've heard over and over, which it seems, and time's only going to tell us on this, right? But there's a weird thing going on in my mind that people are going to be like, look, I don't want to sign that. I'll just deal with all this stuff through the listing agent. Which like, okay, I mean, I kind of understand leaning in that direction, but a couple of things. First, the same thing's going to happen if the listing agent is going to represent you, right? You're going to have to get an agreement signed. They're going to ask you to sign an agreement as well. So keep that in mind. And the other thing, and I just can't stress this enough, right? Do not buy a house unrepresented, right? It just does not make sense, right? It is legal. And it continues to surprise me that the same agent is allowed, even that it's even legal for the same agent to represent both a buyer and a seller transaction. It is though, so fine, let's just work within those parameters. But why would you want to do that, right? You're making a really big purchase, and you're going to you're going to have the person that's representing the seller represent you as well. I've referenced this before, but my buddy Cale Thomas has mentioned this, and he said, like, look, if you're going to, if you were getting a divorce, you're not going to let the same attorney that's representing your soon-to-be ex represent you as well. That's insanity, and it's a similar case here, right? And look, this isn't to say that any realtors out there have bad intentions, right? I mean, I think by far the vast majority in this situation are able to get through dual agency situations and make it work out just great, right? But I will tell you, I was just involved in a transaction where there was dual agency, same agent representing both sides, and to no fault of the agent. Things went sideways, and that's when stuff gets really, really weird, right? So I just hope that, and I really am looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. But buyers out there, please do not use this new agreement that's required and who's going to pay who on these realtors put you into a position where you're going to go unrepresented or represented by the same person that's buying that has already agreed to represent the buyer, right? It just doesn't make sense. Yes, it's legal. Yes, I wholeheartedly believe that realtors in realtors in almost every case will do the right thing. Their head is in the right spot. But it just doesn't make sense, right? I mean, you just shouldn't be one party should not represent two opposing parties in the transaction. It makes no damn sense. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. It just seems to me that with the new rules and the new disclosures that are required to get signed, I feel like it just has some potential to push a buyer to just say, forget it, I'll just let the listing agent represent me. I understand that thinking if that's what you are thinking. But I seriously hope you'll give it another thought and consider just going and getting your own agent. Even if it costs you some money, that would be my recommendation. I can tell you, I've bought and sold a bunch of my own houses, and I've been involved in, at this point, thousands of transactions as a mortgage person. And it's not a good idea to represent yourself. I wouldn't, and I'm like way more sophisticated than the average buyer, but I'm still not a realtor. I don't know the contracts the way I should, and you shouldn't go unrepresented. So that's all I wanted to throw out there today. I am Bill. I'm with Franklin Loan Center, and I'll see y'all next week.